I have given you my top 5 tips to generate market appraisals from motivated sellers who will be prepared to pay a higher fee and be more realistic on their asking price. Now, the important thing to remember is these 5 strategies work best in conjunction with each other. Now, you will get a far better response when knocking on the door if they've already had a letter from you and a postcard. There is no point in thinking that a seller is tied into a 3-month agreement with their current agent and wait until week 11 before you knock on that door. That's like going up to a boy or girl that you like and asking them to marry you. First, you must build a relationship, and in any good relationship, you are not there to take, you are there to give. So visit the seller and give them something and offer to help them without expecting anything in return. Then just stay in touch with them. After a month, they will have received your letter offering to help them find somewhere and seen your market update report that was enclosed. They will have met you face to face when you gave them one of your magazines or your checklist to moving. Then they had a USP postcard offering something their current agent doesn't offer. Then they will have received some postcards showing other people using you to sell their property and properties that you have sold that are like theirs or near theirs. Then they go onto Facebook and there you are again. You will certainly be on their radar. If you're familiar with the reticular activating system, this is the part of the brain that blocks out stuff that you won't be interested in and makes you more aware of information that would be useful and of interest to you. A common example is if you bought a new red Mini, then you'd keep seeing new red Minis every day, yet before you had one, you'd never noticed them. Anyway, my point is that when you're on the seller's radar, they will keep seeing you. They may drive down the street and they'll see your for sale sign, or they see you on Instagram or LinkedIn. Then they see one of your postcards or canvassing cards in the local village shop, or a friend mentions you. Their reticular activating system will keep you popping up everywhere. I have mentioned in previous episodes the term 7-11-4, which is research that Google did called the zero moment of truth. Now, I will add a link to this the zero moment of truth, or you could just Google 0 moments of truth. Anyway, they discovered that if you spend 7 hours with someone, have 11 interactions, or meet them in 4 different locations, people will want to do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. So based on the 7-11-4 principle, you could spend 4 hours with a potential seller by visiting them 3 or 4 times. You might spend 4, 5 or 10 minutes with them. Then they might spend some time watching your videos, reading your blog, or reading your newsletter, or listening to your podcast. They may wish to view some properties with you or chat on the phone. So when you get an appointment to carry out a market appraisal, which may take an hour or 2, they've already spent 4 hours with you. The 11 interactions could be letters, postcards, visiting them, text, emails, video, phone calls, etc. And the 4 different locations could be seeing them at their property, meeting them on a viewing, or they come to your office, or they see your video on their Facebook while they're at work or on holiday. The point I'm making is you can't expect to get the results just by doing one of these 5 strategies. I occasionally hear agents telling me that knocking on doors doesn't work. Well, what do you expect if you see a property go on the market and you don't speak to them for 12 weeks, then you knock on their door and say, "Can I sell your house?" It doesn't work like that. You have to build a relationship. The seller should be hearing from you more than their current agent. Once they know, like, and trust you, you will be the first choice when they're ready to change agents. The great news is most estate agents are terrible at staying in touch with their sellers, and lack of communication is probably one of the biggest complaints I hear about estate agents. Research from Rightmove says that 60% of property sales occur with a second agent. So if you follow these steps correctly, these are the results you will get. Now, 100 properties visited will result in 50 face-to-face meetings. You may have to go back a number of times if people are not in. At least 40 of these people that you meet will give you their name, email, phone number, and describe the type of property that they're looking to buy. Of those 40, 10 will ask you to pop back and carry out a market appraisal. And you should be able to convert 50% to 80% of these into listings. So that's 5 to 8 quality new listings every month. I will leave you to work out what your average fee is, how many of those listings will go through to completion, and what you will earn personally from those sales. Oh, and there is a bonus from doing this. Not only will you generate a consistent flow of listings, but you will also have the hottest list of buyers in your area. Most estate agents will not have this list of hot buyers because most buyers don't visit or call into estate agents to register their requirements. Most of these buyers want to buy a property locally because their family lives nearby, their friends live nearby, their kids' friends live nearby, schools are nearby and work, and so they tend to stay local. Now, when you put a property on the market from your list of 100 properties that you have visited, the buyer of that home is likely to be the seller of one of the 99 other properties you have visited. So make a list of all the properties you visited. Next to the address, add the type of property and the price. Then add what the seller is looking to buy. As you go down the list, you will see that Mr. A is selling a modern 3-bedroom detached for say 500,000 and is looking to buy a 4-bedroom detached for 750,000. And then you see Mr. B or Mr. and Mrs. B are selling a 4-bedroom detached for 750,000 and want to buy a 5/6-bedroom detached for £1 million. Then you've got Mr. and Mrs. C who are selling a 6-bedroom home for £1 million and they're getting divorced. And Mr. C wants to buy a modern 3-bed detached for about 500 and Mrs. C wants to buy a 4-bedroom home for about 750. And you can go down your list of sellers and see what they're looking for to buy and then match their requirements with properties that other sellers have for sale. Another bonus is that every time you find someone a suitable property to buy, they will have a house to sell and they will want you to sell it for them. This list is your most valuable asset, and I recommend you don't do anything else to generate market appraisals until you have done these 5 strategies. There is nothing more important for an estate agent to do than talking to people who want to sell and people who want to buy a property. So stop sitting at your desk waiting for the phone to ring, or stop phoning past clients that are not ready to sell. Stop delivering leaflets to 90% or 99% of people who have no intention of selling, and stop going to networking events with other business owners who just want to sell you their products and services. Go out, get some fresh air and exercise, and talk to people who are currently selling to see how you can help them find their next property and give them something useful and give them some advice and something that's going to be useful for them. Each one of these 5 strategies is a specialist subject, and I could go into far more detail as each strategy must be done correctly. The good news is 3 of the 5 strategies can be done by someone else. The letters, the USP Direct Mail postcards, and your sold in your area and new to the market postcards can be done by your assistant or your administrator. So all you need to do is visit people who want to sell, most of whom who want to buy, and see how you can help them. Then record some videos for your social media. You can even get someone else to post the videos on Facebook and create adverts for you. So if you've done these 5 strategies correctly and consistently, you will have plenty of quality market appraisals. However, if you need more market appraisals, let me know and I can give you strategy number 6, number 7, number 8, all the way to 100. However, I'm confident that if you just do these 5 things, you will have plenty of market appraisals. Finally, do you want to know the number 1 mistake most estate agents make and why their market appraisals dry up? They get so busy doing market appraisals, listing properties, doing viewings, doing open houses, negotiating offers, sales chasing, etc., etc. They stop visiting people who have a property to sell. They think, I'm so busy, I have so many listings to deal with, I don't have time to do visiting people who are already for sale. The problem is, when they stop visiting sellers, 3 months later, they won't have enough listings. Then they'll have to start all again, and they'll go on this roller coaster of loads of listings and then no listings. So my advice is that it doesn't matter how busy you get, Keep an appointment in your diary every week to visit home sellers. So it could be 6 p.m. on a Tuesday evening or 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, but get it in your diary and make it a non-negotiable appointment that you don't change, a bit like a doctor's appointment. So whether it's rain or shine, you go. Now, I've given you a massive amount of information to digest, so my advice is to listen to it a few times. I hope this helps, and remember, your job is to give, to help, and to serve. Do this and you'll never have a shortage of sellers who want to use you to sell their property. Bye for now.